Let's go to story number 5. And this is reported by the Mirror. So, do you like animals, Denise?
Yeah, they're all right.
I
I'm
don't
not like
know.
a super animal advocate, but I love animals, but I'm not like a hardcore like animal person.
I don't know if I heard a lot of sincerity in your voice on that one. Have you ever had a pet?
Um, a long time ago, but it really wasn't my pet. It was more of the family pet, not really my pet.
It was more the family pet. Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever loved a pet or anything else for that matter so much that you would do absolutely anything to keep it?
I don't want to reveal myself on here, but yeah, but my pet's not like really like a real pet, but it
Is it
counts.
explain what? What is it? What is it?
My stuffed animal. He's a giraffe. His name is Tom G. I
And
love him
you
to death and I would do anything for him, even though
okay,
he's just a little stuffed animal.
but this is good because this fits right into the story. This is good. So you love Tom G so much that you would do anything for Tom G.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So you might be able to relate to this story. So there's a 49-year-old woman out of London, England. Her name is Deborah Hodge, and she's been living at her current home for the last 5 years. And at one point she had a cat. The cat's name was Jamal, and her landlord wanted her to get rid of it because he didn't want pets in the premises. Like pets were not allowed. And so unfortunately she had no choice. She had to let Jamal go. Then she wanted another cat because she was kind of lonely. I guess she wanted another cat, and she talked her landlord into letting her have another pet. And so she got another cat in 2017 named India. And her and India got really close. India was in an accident at one point, lost a leg. They got really, really close. But then something happened. What happened was Deborah lost her job. And so now she's in a situation where she doesn't know if she's going to be able to pay the rent on time. And she knew that the landlord was going to get on her ass about the cat because now she didn't have as much leverage if she's not paying the rent on time. So she's afraid he's going to make me get rid of India. He made me get rid of Jamal, and now he's going to make me get India. What did she do in an effort to keep India?
She killed the landlord. She didn't kill the landlord.
your answer is probably better than like funnier. Well, me not
Oh,
funnier, better than
she
the truth.
killed the cat and then did like taxidermy so she could keep the cat, just not in its live status.
She married the cat. Joel, do you have the picture?
What?
There it is.
What?
There it is.
You can do that?
She had a ceremony conducted by a friend who's legally ordained. So the friend is legally ordained to do marriages. So they had a marriage ceremony. She had friends as witnesses. And so now, under law, as a married couple, she believes that the landlord cannot legally force her to get rid of India the cat.
Wait, where is this at again?
London, England.
I'm sorry, but this lady is cuckoo. I cannot agree with this whatsoever. It's kind of gross actually, because now it makes me
Look
wonder,
at that.
what is she doing with that cat? Is there something more here? It's kind of gross.
And it's a female cat, Denise.
Ugh. No, I'm not for this whatsoever. I'm completely anti this story.
So here's a quote from Deborah Hodge. She said, "By marrying India, I need any future landlords, because I think she's already planning to get booted out of the place. I need future landlords to know that we come as a package and we cannot be separated under any circumstances, as she is as important to me as the children. India is as important to her as her kids, Denise."
She couldn't just find another apartment building. Like, really, was it that hard? I'm pretty sure she's not the only person in London with a cat.
No, but I guess she loved where she lived, and I guess she loved the cat, and she had to figure out how the hell do I make these two things work?
That if your mind goes to that place, like, hey, let me marry this cat for this to become legal, or for at least in her eyes to be legal, something tells me there's more to that story. You just don't go from, I need to keep this cat, I'm going to marry it so that it can happen. Something had to happen there.
I'm almost afraid to ask this question because I already had you like dry heaving earlier, but do you think they consummated the marriage, Denise?
I was thinking the same thing. Why do you think it's so wrong and so inappropriate? I don't know, but I really hope not, because aren't there like animal laws that say don't like do it with your animal?
Bestiality.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I'm totally and completely against that. I think it's so gross. I don't even want to know about it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well, we're in the home stretch. After this, go to kynextra.com for our after show. It's called 321. Very creative because we do the last three stories. So it's 321. Go there and we're going to discuss the top 3 news stories of the week. But now it's time for story number 4, Denise.
Okay.
Reported by the Arizona Daily Independent. Have you ever experienced racism on a personal level or witnessed a racist act?
I would say not so extreme as maybe some other people might have.
Okay, good, good.
Like
So
little things.
you haven't had to deal with too many issues. What about this isn't related to racism, but what about like as a woman? I'm sure you've probably dealt with issues as a woman, right?
I'm done with tons of sexism and all of that, and like really creepy men being like, "Oh, sweetie, can you move?" And they're all like touching me and stuff. Ugh.
Where the hell is that happening?
Oh, it's a thing, and this bothers me so much. So I used to work as a brand ambassador, so I would cover multiple events, and I am a very social person, and I have to be out there talking to people, bringing them in, and teaching them about the brand, right? So always men, whenever they wanted to move me out of their way, like pretend this is my body, they would put their hands there and be like, "Oh, sweetie, excuse me, can you move?" And I'm like, nobody ever does that to my fiance. I've never seen anybody, "Oh, sweetie, can you move?" putting their hands on him. And this only happens to women. I've only seen it happen to me and to women all the time. It drives me nuts. Stop doing that,
Very interesting.
people.
When my daughter gets older, because she's only 7, when she gets older, number one, she's going to have a thing of mace on her keychain. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to tell her about eyes balls, weak areas on a man.
Oh, yeah.
Those three things my daughter's gonna be very educated about. But I'm getting off topic. Let me get back to the story. So the PTA involved in an elementary school out in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's called, I hope I'm not mispronouncing this, Hoppy Elementary. They hired a DJ for a charity auction, right? So they're having the PTA is having a charity auction. They want to raise some money, and they hired a DJ for it. Two members of the Scottsdale Unified School District. One of them, his name is Stuart Roden, and the other, her name is Jill Lassen. They were outraged, Denise. They were outraged. They were mad. They asked the PTA, how could you possibly allow a DJ to appear at a charity auction wearing blackface? How could you possibly allow a DJ to be at a school charity function wearing blackface? And one of the men, Scott Roden, one of the guys that complained, he's a black man himself. And he's an instructor at Arizona State University. He's a member of Scottsdale's Unified Equity and Inclusion Committee. So he was pissed off, Denise. He's upset. And then Ms. Lassen, the lady, she describes herself as an ardent community volunteer, activist, and ally to the LGBTQ community. So she wasn't going to stand for it, Denise. Not going to stand for this. And she sent an email to the head of the PTA about the incident. There was a problem. Any idea what it was?
No, because so far this story seems like pretty like normal. Somebody would write a letter because they're angry. Okay, but I don't know what could happen next.
So the DJ, his name is Coco Kim Hunter. He wasn't actually wearing blackface because he was actually, in fact, a black man, Denise. Joel, put up the picture. There he is.
And they
Second from
thought
the right.
and they thought he was like,
A
"Oh my
white guy. They
god."
thought it was a white guy wearing blackface when it was actually a black human being. So Ms. Lassen, she apologized to the PTA. Mr. Roden, he posted a response on Facebook. And keep in mind that Mr. Roden is a black man himself. He posted a response on Facebook and he was kind of trying to justify his accusation a little bit. Like he didn't, you know how sometimes some people don't like to apologize? They don't like to say, I was wrong, I'm sorry. So here's what Mr. Roden said. And I don't know if Joel has the quote, but if not, we'll put it up in post. He said, let me be clear. A black man apparently in blackface. So now he thinks it's a black guy in blackface, Denise. He said a black man apparently in blackface is an entirely different discussion than a white person. However, I did not state that the person was white. It was assumed that that was my intent, and perhaps it was, but nonetheless, looking on his Facebook page, it seems at the very least he's a darker makeup, if not blackface, or if I'm completely mistaken, it's the lighting of the patio. So he didn't want to come right out and say I was wrong. He was trying to suggest, well, it was a black guy in blackface. It was just a black guy, Denise.
This
That's
is
what it was.
this depresses me because I cannot believe people would be that stupid. I don't know if we're allowed to curse on here, but that is
Absolutely.
the stupidest
Absolutely.
thing I've ever heard. And this guy should just come out. If I were him, I would delete my entire social media presence because that was just so stupid. I'm sorry. It was so bad. Like, how could you? What break? Like, where are these people? Like, what are they thinking in their
Scottsdale,
head?
Arizona. Scottsdale, Arizona.
I mean, I don't. I can't even formulate it into words. I legitimately, like, it makes me wonder, do they not, I haven't been to this area in Arizona, but had they never seen a black person before? But then the guy that was black,
Right.
this doesn't make sense. I don't know.
This is why I created this platform. This is why Know Your News exists, because of shit like this. And here's the thing. There were a lot of photos and video footage from that charity auction. Like, there were a lot. It's not like they had one picture of him with those other people that we showed you. There was a whole bunch of photos and a whole bunch of video. How for 1 second do you think that that's a guy wearing blackface? Like, how, for 1 second, how do you think that that's possible?
I don't know. Like, it really baffles me, and it really depresses me that there are people out there in this society walking around marrying their cats and confusing blackface and all of this. Like, it's very depressing to me.
You make me love that I'm doing this, Denise. You make me love that I'm doing
Like,
it.
I've lost my faith in humanity.
If you want to see all our videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, click the subscribe button below. Otherwise, we'll start posting spoilers about your favorite new movies.